Welcome back, children. In our previous session, we had learnt about two concepts in programming. One is events. Events are the action performed by the user, and the second is the variable. Today, we are going to see how to create animations using Sketch. So, for this again I will come to this address bar and I am going to select this scratch.mit.edu site, press enter, and I have already logged in into my account. So, you can see here. Now, I will click to my stuff, and in our previous class we had created our first project. Now, let us now start with a new project. So, I will click on new project, and as soon as I click on new project, I get a new project. The first thing I will do is I am going to name this as runner, and here the first thing is I am not going to use this default sprite. Now, I want to add my own actor. I want to add a runner here instead of this cat. Now, these sprites are created using software like Photoshop. So, using software like Photoshop, I will search for runner animated on Google, and I am going to see for some running actions. So, I have opened this image in Photoshop and I am going to convert it into layers like this. Say 1, 2. So, I have different layers, and I am going to then export these layers as images. Go to file, export, and here if I say layer to files, and I am going to create the layers. So, right now what I have done is, instead of you doing all these things, I have already created all these images and I have shared this in a link. If you come to your YouTube video or to your LMS, in the description I have provided you a link. If you click on this link will open up and you have this runner folder. So, what you can now do is you have one download button here. Click on the download button. So, once it is downloaded to my downloads folder, see here I have this runners.zip. I will just right click on this and I am going to choose extract all, and it is going to extract all the files, and in the runner folder I have 5 images. See, runner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I use the medium icon size, see you have these 5 images. You can download these images, and after you download these images, come back to Scratch now. Now, coming back to Scratch here, we are going to come to this option here, choose a sprite, and in this option you have one option called as upload sprite. So, click on this option, and among these 5 images, I will choose any one image. For example, I will choose this run1.png file and I will click open. So, now I have a new sprite here. I will select this sprite one cat and click here and delete it. I no more need it. Now, for this run 1, I am going to name this as runner, and giving him the name as runner. In X I will keep it at 0, in Y I keep it at 0, so that he is exactly at the center of the screen. So, I have now added my own sprite and I am going to animate this sprite. So, to do this, now just like in the last class, we are going to start all the action on our screen when this green button is pressed, and pressing this green button is an event. So, if I come to the course here and in events, I am going to drag this when flag clicked. I choose this, and now I come to this motion tab and I am going to select this option, move 10 steps. And now see what happens. See, right now this runner is at x0 and y0, and if I click on the play button, flag button, see you observe him, he has moved by 10 points. If I click again, he moves by 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So, whenever I am clicking this go button, he is moving 10 units. See here. However, I want him to keep on moving once I press on the flag. That is, this move 10 step should keep on getting executed, not just once, but I want it to execute it multiple times. And here we are exposed to the third concept in programming, which we call as loop. Looping is the another concept of programs where a particular set of commands is executed repeatedly till a particular condition is met. All these looping blocks are available in this control panel. If I come to the control panel here, in this control panel, the first looping I have is repeat. So, if I drag this repeat and put it below this, just on this move, see, if I drop it on move, right now it is set to repeat at 10 times. So, now I will set this sprite back to 0, and now previously if I press the flag button, it was moving by 10 units. Now, if I click the flag button, see, it moved by 100 units because it moved 10 steps 10 times. So, this is repeating this action by number of times you are specifying here. Now, I will set it back to 0 here, and in repeat I will change the value to 20. Now, if I execute it, see children, what happens? It is moving by 10 into 20, 200 units. It moves 10 steps 20 times. So, repeat is the first type of loop that we use. However, I want this to repeat not 10 times, 20 times or 30 times, but I want it to repeat forever. Without stop, it should keep on repeating till I click the stop button. To do this, I will set the x value here back to 0, and now I will drag this repeat to the side, move this move to the side. I will drag this repeat back to this left panel so that it is now removed. Okay. Now, I will select the second loop here, which is called as forever. So, if I drag this forever and put it over here, and now if I put this move 10 steps, see now what happens is, if I click the play button, so this keeps moving forever. So, now what has happened is, it has moved till 275 and then it has disappeared from the screen. However, I will press the stop button. I will bring this gray x value back to 0, so that he is back at the screen. Now, the problem is, if I run this runner as it is, he runs beyond your screen and keeps moving in this axis and moves away from the screen. Now, what I want him to do is, as soon as he comes to the edge of the screen, he has to run back, that is in the opposite direction. So, to achieve this, there is a ready command or a block available in Scratch, which is called as if on edge. So, for this, I will come to this motion tab, and in motion tab, if you see here, if you scroll it down a little by pressing the middle mouse, if you scroll and see, you have one command here, if on edge bounds. So, now what I will do is, after move 10 steps, I will drag this if on edge bounds and put it below this. Now see what happens when I press the play button. He comes to the end. See, he is bouncing back, but there is a problem. While running back, he is getting flipped. This is actually a bug in Scratch where you ask it to actually bounce, it turns by 180 degree. This is turning by 180 degree. So, to solve this problem, what I am now going to do is, I will press the stop button now and I will come back here, and you have one option here, set rotation style. Drag this set rotation style and put it above this if on edge. Okay. That is, after move 10 steps, you set the rotation style to, you have left, right, don't rotate and all round. See, if I choose don't rotate, see what happens is, now if I play this, see it will come and it keeps moving as it is. See, you can see it is not rotating at all. I will stop this. Now if I choose all round, see what happens. So when I play it, it is flipping like before. Okay. I will stop this, and if I choose left, right, now if I play it, okay, now this is fine. So when he is running back, he is turning in the opposite direction. So now we have successfully created the animation, but the problem with this animation now is, he is floating, he is not running. There is no action within the sprite, because you have only one frame of the sprite. So for this, now what I will do is, I will stop this playback. Now I will come to the second tab here, costumes. So when I come to costume, you can see as of now you have only one sprite. Now here I will come, you have choose a costume, and here also you have a upload costume button. I will click on upload costume button, and I am going to select run 2, run 3, run 4, run 5. I will drag a box like this and select all the 4 and click open. So now what has happened is, I have got every frame you can see in a different sprite. You can see this. Okay. Now in costume, instead of one frame, I have added 5 frames. Now I will come back to code, but here if I execute the code, nothing is happening. Now I have to tell Scratch that for every frame I have to choose a different costume. And this, how we can do is, you can come to this looks, and in looks you have an option here, next costume. Now drag this next costume and put it if below if on edge bounds. I will put it here. And now if I execute it, can you see? He is now running. Now we have successfully created this running animation. Although he is running fine, now basically he starts running as soon as I press the flag button, and he will stop as soon as I click on this red button, because I have used a forever loop. The last thing I want to show today is, when you are looping, I will come back to control. Instead of repeat and forever, you can also use what is called as a conditional loop. Conditional loop means a particular set of code will be executed only when a particular condition is true. And for this conditional loop, we use a statement which we call as if then statement. You can see here. So now I am going to drag this if then statement, and now what I want is only when I press a key on my keyboard, he has to start running. So for this, I will come back to sensing, and you have an option here, key pressed. I will drag this key pressed rhombus shape and put it in this condition window here. So I have put this in the condition slot. So now it is saying if I press the key button space, then I will move all these 4 set and put it inside this if statement. So now only when I click the space button, this is going to get executed. However, if I remove off this forever and if I put if condition and if I try to execute it, and now if I press the space button, nothing is happening, because Scratch only when you initially started the program, it is going to test whether space key is pressed or not. It only tests only once, and then the execution stops. So what I have to now do is I have to use 2 loops here. So I cannot connect this if directly under when key pressed. I will drag it to the side. I will first add the forever loop, and inside the forever loop I will now add this if then statement. So now what happens is, after you press the flag button, it is forever checking whether you have pressed the key space or not. So it is not going to test just once. So now if I press on the go button, nothing is happening, but as soon as I press on the space button, see, he starts running. He is running as soon as I press the space button, but as soon as I release the space, he stops. Again I press space, he is running. If I release, he stops. See, he keeps running, he stops. He keeps running, he stops. So we have successfully created our second Scratch project, in which if you press the space button, he will run. If you release the space button, he will stop. So with this, I will choose the option save now here. I will come back to this project window, and here you are seeing the runner project. I will click on this runner project, and here I am going to give the instruction. I am going to tell the user, this is a simple animation. The runner will start running when you have kept your space button on the keyboard pressed. So press space bar in keyboard and see our runner running. So I have given an instruction to the user, and after I give this instruction, I can click on the share button. So when I click on this share button, now you have a new link here. Copy this link and share this link now with me, either in the video comment or in your LMS. Now, if I click on this button, the program is running. When I press the space bar, he starts running, and if I release the space bar, he stops running. So, we have created our second scratch animation of a runner whose running is controlled by your keyboard space. If I release the space bar, he will stop running. If I press the space bar, he keeps running. So, with this, we have completed our second project, and in our next project, we are going to work with rotation animation. So, let us meet in our next class. Thank you.